flawlessly. Is that fair? Your transition's been flawless.
Well, that's pretty good. I wouldn't, flawlessly. I think the thing that when I decided to come here with Chris, I came here as a co-head coach. I didn't come here as just a typical title associate head coach. He and I both got together and communicated that it was going to be a co-head coaching type situation. I was going to coach the defense, he was going to coach the offense, but we were going to both be head coaches and pretty much coach the team that way. And we did that for a better part of our time here together.
Timmy said you weren't trying to be their therapist, you were trying to be their coach. Is that true, or was there some therapy involved in some of this over the last couple of weeks?
Well, I think anytime you go, I mean, coaches wear a lot of different hats. Sometimes you can sometimes be the father figure for guys. You can also, be, to your point, the therapist as well as time. But I think at the end of the day, I think you're there to continue to try to help young men grow in all areas of their lives. Whether it be, encouraging them to be a great student, encouraging them to be a great person, encouraging them to, respect others with your actions. Tell your loved ones you love them. So I think you wear a lot of different hats. At times you don't really try to force faith on them, but you let them know that you're a man of faith and you're a man that believes in God as well. And I just think you wear all those hats. You try to instill, a lot of those values to guys, or reiterate some of those that they already have been taught already and everything. So. Again, I really tried to work with them, trying to help those guys in that regards.
Chip, go ahead.
Rodney, did they see a different side of you last Thursday in that practice where it was all defense and no offense after the K-State game?
You know what? I think what you have to do when you have to hit the reset button, you have to, first of all, I think you have to let the guys know that, hey, we're all in this together. It's not you guys against the coaches or the coaches against you guys. And so I think we set the tone very, early in that practice. And, from the very first thing we did that day, I said, I'm not going to ask you guys to do anything I wouldn't do. So, we had a charge drill off the bat, and I took a charge off the bat. So, so, hey, we got to have more charges, guys, and this is what we got to do, and we got to be a gritty team. We have to be the first to the floor. And, I think I proceeded to get in a loose ball drill and, hurt a rib a little bit getting on the floor. But the floor is our friend, and stuff. But no, I think sometimes, if you let the guys know, hey, we're in this together, I'm not asking you to do anything, I wouldn't do. I think that set the tone. And from that point on, I thought our guys had tremendous energy and effort in that practice. And I thought we got better that day.
Kurt? Ronnie, can you talk about the emotions that you personally have felt? And is there some anger and disappointment in Chris?
No, there's not any anger. No, I mean, things happen in life. There's all different types of situations and circumstances that we're all going to face and have to deal with. I lost my father in August, and it's one of the hardest things in my life. So there are things that you're going to go through all the time that you're not going to be prepared for, or you're not ready for, and you have to move forward. And you have to try to stay the course, and and try to, I always tell guys when you're going through adversity, you have to try to get better as you go through it. Don't sit there and feel sorry for yourself. No one's gonna feel sorry for us. You have a job to do, and you have to continue to do your job at the highest level. And we talk all the time about living where your feet are, living in the moment. You know what I mean? And enjoying this day, win this day. You don't know, tomorrow's not promised to us. Enjoy this day. And that's kind of my whole approach on life. So I don't ever have any ill feelings or feel bad about what happened.
Terry, go ahead.
Coach, you've had a successful career coaching men, sending them off to the world and into the NBA. Is there a part of this time right now in January that you like the most? Is there something about this time where you'd say, this is my favorite part?
It is really the favorite part of time, favorite part of the year, really, in basketball for us and in the season, because it's conference play, and conference play, and I break the season down into a lot of different phases of the season. It's really a marathon. It's not a sprint. We work hard in November on the identity. In December, it's about the details. And I said to the guys as we, embarked on January, it's going to be the grind. The grind Everybody in our league are very familiar with one another. You know, we're familiar with TCU. TCU's very familiar with us. They have a lot of guys back from last year. We have a lot of guys back from last year. So it's going to be about the grind. Who embraces the grind of every day trying to get better, of every day, you know, knowing every night that you compete. It's going to be a possession game. You get to sit down and get stops, but also embrace it and enjoy it. You know, it's a fun time of year. You know, it's what you work for all summer. It's what you work for in the fall to get to conference play. You know, you have to enjoy it. You have to enjoy the ride.
Corey, go ahead. Coach, have you been in contact with Chris throughout this time about the team?
You know what? I have not. I didn't have any. I didn't have any contact with him until we had the final clarification the other day. That was the first time that I had contact with him, and but I know from afar he was watching and was with us the whole time as well. But no, that was the only time I had contact.
Rodney, I know you talked about Coach Donald Wall and how involved he is with the offense. With Chris Ogden and Coach McLean specifically, how have their roles changed on a day-to-day basis, game day, if they've changed at all?
You know, we brought Chris Ogden back more into the basketball part of things. He wasn't doing basketball for a while and everything. He was around, but not, you know, extensively involved with it. We kind of, you know, we're down a man and everything, so we're able to bring him back in the fold. And, you know, obviously, you know, Chris played at a high level, and he's had a chance to coach at a very high level and be a head coach himself likewise, and has tremendous experience, you know, as an assistant coach and a head coach. So, you know, Steve's been a head coach likewise. You know, again, his duties haven't really changed at all. He's worked on the defense side of the ball with myself from the time he's arrived here, and has done a stellar job, you know, with the scouting and working with our guys and assisting our players in our preparation.
Jeff Jones?
Coach, over the past month, I know that I'm sure that things have been, it's been a whirlwind between putting on the different hats and I'm sure changes in game planning and then reevaluating the friendship that you had with Chris. What's been the toughest part for you as a man?
Well, I don't, you know, again, I don't look at it as tough. Tough for me was when I lost my dad in August. That was tough, you know. Doing what we love and have a passion to do every day. I mean, we're blessed every day to you know, work at an incredible institution, work for incredible administration that gives us great support. You know, man, we have so much to be, you know, thankful for. You know, I always have a very optimistic and very positive outlook on life. You know what I mean? And I don't dwell on very many negatives. I don't like negative energy. And so I don't know. My approach to it is, you know what? It's a new day. You know, I'm going to live it to the fullest. I enjoy what I do. I love working with this group. There's a great group of young men that you know, still have the whole season ahead. The sky's the limit on still how good this team could be moving forward. And that's kind of how I live my life a little bit, to be honest. I'm on the positive side of things, you know.
Always, as coaches say, it's about players. What do you tell those next to guys you've signed and want to know what's going on? They probably have questions.
Well, I mean, I think when you go through the recruiting process, you develop relationships with people as well. You know, and anytime a recruit commits to your university and, you know, want to join your family and be a part of your program, there's a lot of trust and relationship built over the course of that recruiting period. And I think, you know, with both of the guys that we have signed, I was heavily involved with and was really the point person on those guys. And so, you know, that relationship is really strong, and it hasn't really wavered to this point. They made a commitment to an elite level basketball program where they were going to have an opportunity to come in and be impact players for us and have a chance to continue to grow as young men. And that hasn't changed, you know, and I think, you know, both of those guys are excited about the opportunity to still come here and be a part of something special here at Texas.
Joe, go ahead. I know you had almost a decade of head coaching experience, but you come back, you're the head coach, not the co-head coach, and then you got all these, you know, single possession or single digit games. Was it nice, I guess, or did it help that you had all these close games to where your ability to handle situations was tested right away instead of kicking it down the road and waiting for it in a maybe higher leverage game?
Yeah, no, I think year 5 as a head coach, early in my career, I probably would handle different situations a lot different. But as you continue to grow and, you learn to have more poise, and if your guys can see that you're poised and calm and nothing's going to be harder for our guys. And I said it to them today. We're never going to have anything harder than what you have to go through in practice. Practices are made to be hard. They're made to put you in uncomfortable positions. And, a lot of great players you coach and a lot of great players that play, any sports. The game is the fun part. You've already worked and you've been put in uncomfortable positions. The game, man, it's nothing you're not prepared for that you can't handle, and I think our guys have embraced that. I think they've embraced understanding that you have to play with urgency this time of year, but you also have to have a poise and calmness about yourself and understanding that at winning time, you're confident with what you do and how you do it on both ends of the floor.
Jim, go ahead.
Just talking to the recruits who I'm sure have questions about the future. What about your own future here at the program? Are you looking at this as any kind of audition to be the head coach here going forward on a permanent basis? Are you in Texas is looking at you and saying, okay, you could be the guy?
Well, again, I live in the moment. I'm big in preaching to our guys about living where your feet are. I think, if you'd asked me that question early in my career, I probably would say, you know what, man, I'm looking, I want to go here, I want to go do this. No, I think you live right in the moment. We've got a great team to coach. I got a great staff working behind me. I love the opportunity we have with this team and where we still can go and how much better we can get. And that's all I'm focused on right now. Living in the moment, trying to enjoy the ride and the ebb and flow of a highly competitive Big 12 conference race.
Kurt, you getting a raise yet?
You know what? Show me the money. No. Again, I just focus on what I can focus on right now. And to be honest with you, that's, a conversation here or there that has to take place between administration at some point and myself. And we just, we've been focusing on what we can focus on right now.
Rodney, when you watch the tape on TCU, what stands out about them and where do you feel like they can pose you some problems?
Man, Jamie's done a great job with this group. He's got an older group. He's got a lot of returners from last year. They're a team that plays extremely fast in transition. They force a lot of turnovers. I think they're averaging like 17 turnovers. You have to be strong with the ball and take care of the basketball. They do a great job of really converting those turnovers into baskets. Put a lot of pressure on you at the basket in terms of being a physical mindset. They're elite level offensive rebounding team. Lampley's one of the best. Lampkin's one of the best offensive rebounders in the country. He's getting about 4 or 5 offensive rebounds a game. And you have a preseason player of the year in Miles. A huge challenge ahead. A really, really good team, an NCAA tournament team, coming to our home court on Wednesday night.
Terry, go ahead.
Coach, throughout your career, you coached and sent a bunch of players to the NBA. What is that like to have an influence over some of those players? And clearly, you're probably going to send some more on this team to the NBA. What is that like for you to develop?
Well, I think it's always a good reference point, and oftentimes, I refer back to guys that I had a chance to work with here, and I think it resonates with our guys because they're sitting in the same jersey and they're at the same moment of their life that particular player was likewise. And I believe I used P.J. Tucker today as a guy that I referenced today in terms of wasn't highly recruited, was a guy that we were able to identify and came in and had an incredible career. But the thing that I made reference to with PJ was a guy every time he stepped on the floor, he thought he was the baddest dude on the court. And he probably still thinks that same way. He's the baddest dude on the court and played with a chip on his shoulder. He still plays with that chip on his shoulder. But he never forgot where he came from and how hard he had to work every single day. And I think it's when you're able to use those reference points with guys that you've had a chance to work with, in particular here, I think it really helps our guys understand. We have a term even defensively for us. We're trying to keep a guy on the side, and we call it Tucker. And we show P.J. Tucker doing it in the NBA. This is Tucker. He's tucking it. He's keeping it on the side. He's not letting this guy get to the paint and stuff. So I think it's great when you're able to be able to do that. And lucky for me, I've had a chance to work with many great players that we had here, and our guys are familiar with those guys. Some of them are still playing, some are not. Royale Ivy is one of those guys that was a tough, hard-nosed, defender for us here in this program. Doge Balbay came back here this summer and was with our guys, and so no tougher guy playing in this program than Doge Balbay. He's Defensive Player of the Year from the point guard spot. So I think when you're able to reference those guys and point those guys out, and they're able to identify with those guys and still communicate with those guys as well, it's a huge advantage for your program.
Last one, Chip.
Rodney, how much will you continue to talk to Beard? And you know him from the guy who ground his way up at all those, little stops along the way. How would you characterize his mindset right now?
Chris will always be a brother to me. I've said it, publicly, how much I love him as a person, and so much respect for him professionally as well. He wants this team to do, the special things that we thought we were capable of doing this year, and he's very supportive of all the guys and everyone in our program, and, to the point to where, he doesn't want to be a distraction, but anyway, he could help at any point. He'd love to be able to, throw some advice here or there, and, but at the end of the day, he knows we're with the guys every day, and we're going to have to be the ones that make the decisions in terms of what we actually do in terms of game plan. But again, tremendous respect for him, and he wants his team to do well.
Well, if you are talking to him, I'm curious to know if the administration has advised you in any way on what kind of conversations to have with him, given just the acrimonious nature and the possibility that there could be civil lawsuits over his contract. Do you have to limit? Are you limited? Are they asking you to limit?
Well, I really had any discussions about it, and everything, but I mean, at the end of the day, myself, our coaching staff, we're going to have to coach this team. And we've been coaching this team from the time that everything happened. So, whether I talk to Chris and have a conversation to him about our game or maybe a different game, it has no bearing on who's coaching the team. I'm coaching the team right now. I have the direction of the team. I have a great staff behind me. And I have a team that I feel like that's bought into trying to achieve all the goals that we set out to this season.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.